You're watching a Highwire Media podcast.
Happy holidays and welcome to the Big D Breakdown Show. As always, I'm your host, Larry Elise. Today we're diving into the latest headlines from around AT&T Stadium. With that, let's dive right into our first topic. Beloved longtime Cowboys star may have played his final snap with Dallas, which would in reality really suck. It felt as early as October that the Dallas Cowboys season was cursed. At the time, Micah Parsons had just gone down with a high ankle sprain, which meant Dallas had already lost its top 4 defensive ends in as many weeks to injured reserve. Turns out the injury bug was only getting started. In the 2 months since, the Cowboys have seen Dak Prescott, Trayvon Diggs, Zach Martin, and DeMarvion Overshown, 4 of the most important players on the roster, suffer season-ending injuries. While Prescott is expected to be a full go for the offseason program, Diggs and Overshown's recoveries could bleed in the 2025 season. Overshown is considered a long shot to play next year, given his tore 3 ligaments in it. Martin, meanwhile, could retire after the season. He's one of the best players in franchise history. It would be heartbreaking if Martin's final year ended prematurely. It pains us to say that another Cowboys great, in addition to Martin, may have played his final snap for the franchise after the latest update. Micah Parsons said after the Thanksgiving win that the Cowboys could get DeMarcus Lawrence back for their next game against the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Turns out, Lawrence, who hasn't played since week 4 due to a foot injury, wasn't close to suiting up. Asked about Lawrence's status for Sunday Night Football against the Bucs, Mike McCarthy said the 4-time Pro Bowler won't have his 21-day practice window open this week. That all but rules Lawrence out for the game, and time is now running out for him to return this season. The Cowboys only have 2 games left after Sunday. The Eagles in Week 17, and home versus Washington put a bow on the season. Since Lawrence still isn't cleared to practice, it's probably in his best interest to shut it down. The lifetime Cowboy will be a free agent after this season. At 32 years old, turns 33 in April, this will be his last chance to cash in. Unless Dallas signs him before free agency, Lawrence will command a strong market, among the best at his position, defending the run, and he's still a handful to deal with as a pass rusher. If you take a look at the upcoming defensive end market, Lawrence will arguably be the best free agent at the position. The Lions and Commanders are 2 teams that spring to mind that could vie for his signature. It stands to reason that any interested team would offer more than Dallas. They're shaping up to be a bidding war for Lawrence. Why jeopardize that by returning for the final 2 games where the Cowboys have nothing to play for in terms of the playoffs? Cowboy fans would hate it with every fiber of their being if this is how Tank's Dallas career ends, but it is suddenly a real possibility. And now on to our next topic. Cowboys were gifted the perfect Dak Prescott backup thanks to a shocking NFL comeback. The Dallas Cowboys roster will undergo significant turnover in the offseason. While most of the core will remain intact, they have a laundry list of free agents. We like to think the front office learned its lesson after it sanctioned a mass exodus last March, but Executive Vice President Steve Jones all but announced that Dallas will tighten their budget. That could set the stage for another quiet free agency. This is a team that has historically prioritized re-signing its own players. In a perfect world, Osa Udowizi, Rico Dowdle, Jordan Lewis, and DeMarcus Lawrence all get retained. It would be great if Chauncey Golston finds his way back as well, but it is worth noting that Dak Prescott is the only quarterback under contract next year. With Prescott coming off his second season-ending injury in 4 years, the Cowboys need a capable backup, while the perfect option has potentially fallen into their lap. Teddy Bridgewater told NFL Network that this week that he wants to return to the NFL. The 32-year-old spent the 2024 season coaching his high school alma mater, Miami Northwestern Senior High School in Florida, to a state championship. Bridgewater didn't reveal much about what's next, but it sounds like he's on the verge of signing somewhere. Former first-round pick last played in 2023 for the Lions, may be in the market for a backup. Other teams such as the Browns, Titans, Raiders are all navigating quarterback injuries. Bridgewater went 33-32 in 75 career starts before retiring after the 2023 season. He completed 66.4% of his passes for 75 touchdowns, 47 interceptions, and a 90.5 passer rating. It goes without saying, he would be an upgrade over Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. It's important to note that Bridgewater didn't commit to playing 2025. It seems like he wants to return to coaching as soon as after this season. It would obviously rule him out as a potential signing, But who's to say he doesn't have a change of heart after getting a taste of the league again? What if he signs somewhere, plays well, and he suddenly has multiple teams vying for his signature before free agency? Would he think about returning to the NFL full-time? These are all hypotheticals. Bridgewater, attempting to come back with 2 weeks left in the regular season, tells us he has unfinished business. Cowboys would be smart to keep tabs on this storyline. Bridgewater would be the best possible backup for Dak. Let me know your thoughts on signing Bridgewater. Would you take him, or would you walk away? Let me know. Of course, what do you think about Bridgewater even coming back to play for any team? Now on to our next topic. Cowboys aren't out of the NFL playoff picture just yet. Cowboys' playoff chances are hanging by a thread. Dallas Cowboys' playoff chances are on life support heading into the final 3 weeks of the regular season. They're not completely dead just yet. Facing their first elimination scenario of the season on Sunday, the Cowboys kept themselves in the fight for at least another week, but a 30-14 victory over the Carolina Panthers, a game in which America's team dominated both sides of the football. The Dallas defense stifled Bryce Young 6 times, intercepting him twice and forcing 4 total turnovers. Mike Zimmer's unit also held the Panthers to just 60 rushing yards, the second fewest allowed by the Cowboys all season. Offensively, the Cowboys had everything working. Cooper Rush completed 18 of 29 passes for 214 yards, with a career-high 3 touchdowns, the first of which went to CeeDee Lamb, who made all sorts of history with a 9-catch, 116-yard performance. The running game was on point as well, as Breek Odell notched his 3rd consecutive 100-yard game, thus achieving a feat not seen in the NFL in a decade, rushing for a career-high 149 yards on 25 carries. But while the win was impressive, it effectively only delayed the inevitable. Cowboys didn't get the kind of help they needed elsewhere. Saints, NFL playoff picture. If the NFL playoffs were to start tomorrow, here's what the NFC side of the bracket would look like. Number 1 would be the Detroit Lions, the first in NFC North. Philadelphia Eagles, the first in NFC East. Tampa Bay Bucks in the 3rd. LA Rams in the 4th spot. Vikings in the 5th. Packers in the 6th. And the Commanders in the 7th. Top 6 slots don't apply to the Cowboys. 6 and 8, they obviously can't win the NFC East, as they're 6 games back of the Philadelphia Eagles with 3 weeks to go. So that eliminates the top 4, as they're 6 back of the Vikings and 4 back of the Packers in the wildcard race. That knocks out the 5th and 6th seeds as well. Only chance Dallas has is to sneak into the 7th slot, which is currently held by the Washington Commanders, who improved to 9-5 on Sunday by surviving a late scare from the New Orleans Saints, ultimately hanging on for a 20-19 victory. As such, Washington is up 3 on Dallas with 3 weeks to go, meaning the Cowboys would have to win out, which would include a Week 18 win over the Commanders and have Dan Quinn and company lose their other 2 games to have a shot. But it's not as if the Commanders are the only team the Cowboys have to worry about. Dallas currently sits in the number 12 position in the NFC and would have to surpass the Seahawks at number 8, the Falcons at number 9, and the Cardinals at number 10, and the 49ers at 11 before they get to Washington. So again, the Cowboys only delayed the inevitable with the win over the Panthers, and they have already been eliminated from contention by the time they suit up for their Sunday night football matchup with the Bucks. Cowboys just got the best possible DeMarvion Overshown update after knee surgery, and it's such major relief. Good news has been hard to come by this season for the Cowboys. Only 6 teams have more players out with injury Cowboys, and that doesn't include those who were out earlier in the season and have since returned to the lineup. It's been one devastating injury after another. Prescott's season-ending hamstring injury was by far the most debilitating to the season. Overshown's knee injury was easily the most heartbreaking. Overshown's leg bent the wrong way when it was barreled into a Bengals offensive lineman in Week 14. His reaction hinted it was a serious injury, and further testing revealed there were 3 ligaments in his knee, his ACL, MCL, and PCL. Given the injury's timing and severity, the initial fear was that Overshown could miss all of next season, meaning we will not see him until 2026. It is still too early to know for sure when Overshown will be back, but his timeline is much more optimistic after surgery. According to Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports, Overshown underwent successful surgery, and there's hope he can return in the second half of 2025. Again, it can't be overstated that Dallas initially thought Overshown would miss the entire 2025 season. While he isn't out of the woods in that regard, It seems surgery and further examination left doctors optimistic that his recovery may not be as long. He has been in good spirits since suffering the injury. He live tweeted Sunday's win in Carolina and has reassured fans on social media that he'll be back. It's clear the 24-year-old has a great head on his shoulders. He faces a long road to recovery, but his frame of mind and drive to be great will only expedite the process. First full season, Overshown announced himself as one of the NFL's rising stars. He accumulated 90 tackles, 5 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 20 pressures, 38 defensive stops, freakish pick 6 on Thanksgiving. That was his coming out party to the country. Overshown likely wouldn't have received enough votes to make the Pro Bowl. He absolutely played at that level before the injury. It makes the injury all the more tragic that Overshown was just coming into his own. This updated timeline offers a glimmer of hope that we'll see him at some point in 2025. So our next headline is an unlikely player is giving the Cowboys the perfect blueprint to prolong Dak Prescott's career. And this is a huge silver lining from this season. Many Cowboy fans thought that the season would tailspin after it was revealed that Dak Prescott needed surgery on his hamstring. In the most unlikely of surprises, though, the Cowboys have won 3 of their last 4. Fighting Mike McCarthy's currently have a less than 1% chance of making the playoffs. While the playoffs are a pipe dream, it is impressive that Dallas isn't mathematically eliminated, given they were just 3-7 1 month ago. Still, it is time to look ahead to 2025. Like we said, several players on the roster, most of them free agents, have made a strong case to sign new contracts. Osa Udowizi, Jordan Lewis have played at a Pro Bowl level. Carl Lawson has had a productive year rushing the quarterback. That said, there is one player who has given Dallas the ideal blueprint to prolong Prescott's career. That, running back Rico Dowdle. Rico has been a revelation since the Cowboys declared him their leading running back. Though it took more than half the season for that to occur, is a travesty. But we digress. With 149 rushing yards in Sunday's win over Carolina, Rico became the first undrafted free agent in a decade with 3 straight 100-yard games. He ranks either first or second during that span in rushing yards after contact, explosive runs, or rushes of 10 or more yards, missed tackles forced, and runs that resulted in a first down, according to PFF. Dowdle shouldn't be the centerpiece of the offense moving forward. That is CeeDee Lamb, who made more Cowboys history on Sunday. However, regardless if Mike McCarthy is back, running the football should be Dallas's identity next year. Dowdle should absolutely be a part of that. Rico is the focal point of the offense. The Cowboys have won 3 of their last 4 games with Cooper Rush under center. While Prescott proved in 2023 when he finished second in MVP voting that he's capable of carrying an offense, he has historically flourished with the benefit of a strong running game. Prescott will turn 32 before the start of the season. By no means is he injury prone. 2 major leg injuries in 4 years, both of which required season-ending injuries, is alarming. The Cowboys' window is wide open so long as Prescott is healthy and under contract. The front office's primary objective should be prolonging his career. The easiest way to do that is not asking him to do everything, i.e., become a run-first offense. With Rico emerging as a more than capable starter, Dallas has a golden opportunity to draft a rookie somewhere on day 2 to give Prescott a 2-headed monster in the backfield. That should be the way forward. It's possible thanks to Rico's coming out party. And finally tonight, we're going to take a look at potential for a reason that the Cowboys should cut Zeke Elliott and sign a new released running back. But we all know they won't. Jerry Jones loves Zeke too much to even do this. He told us in early October that the Cowboys would have a 1,000-yard rusher. We would have laughed in your face. With 3 games left, Rico needs just 120 rushing yards or an average of 40 per game to reach the milestone. At that rate, he could crack 1,000 yards as soon as Sunday night against the Buccaneers. This is what many Cowboy fans envisioned for Rico back in training camp. The team insisted on deploying a committee with Zeke Elliott to start the season. Since committing to Dowdle as their leading back, Elliott's been invisible. Before Sunday's win in Carolina, when he rushed 9 times for 30 yards, Zeke hadn't received more than 6 carries in a game since Week 8 when Rico sat out with an illness. In a perfect world, Rico shares the backfield next year with an impact rookie. There's no room for Elliott, obviously, but the running back 3 role might be up for grabs. The candidate for that job was just released by 2-time defending champs. I'm going to butcher his last name, so I'm just going to say Cowboys need to sign running back Clyde Edwards, who was cut by the Chiefs. Chiefs waived Clyde on Monday, a first-round pick in 2020, and has accumulated 1,100 scrimmage yards as a rookie, but has since fallen out of favor under Andy Reid due to the emergence of Isaiah Pacheco and most recently Kareem Hunt. After contributing to LSU's historic championship run in 2019, Edwards seemed primed to have a successful pro career. Fortunately, injuries limited him to a combined 20 games in his second and third season, which allowed Pacheco to take over the backfield. Most recently, he suffered from PTSD and cyclic vomiting syndrome. Chiefs placed him on the non-football illness list for the season, and he hasn't appeared in a game. It seems, though, that he is over the worst of it. If that is the case, the Cowboys should give him a call. He is absolutely a better runner than Elliott, and he's a better complement to Rico. The 25-year-old owns a respectable 68.5 rushing grade for his career, per PFF. Not great running between the tackles, but Rico has proved plenty capable in that regard. 89 career receptions, Edwards would step in as the best pass-catching back on the roster. His ability to make defenders miss in the open field would fit well alongside Rico's punishing running style. Running back room featuring Dowdle, a day 2 pick, and Edwards would give the Cowboys a backfield to be trifled with. The front office should cut Elliott and sign Edwards. Okay, I'll attempt to say his last name. With the intention of having him try out for a spot on next year's roster. Unfortunately, Jerry Jones has too much adoration for Elliott to even think about cutting him with 3 games left of the season. But I want to know what your thoughts are. Does this be a good move by the Cowboys? Or should we just trade Zeke for somebody else or draft picks? Let me know your thoughts over in the comment section below. As always, give us a thumbs up if you like our video. That subscribe button down below. Of course, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buycoffee.com/thebigd. Support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, bring in new hosts, pay them, and hopefully one day take this show on the road. As always, your support can help make that happen. Whether it's $1, $5, $20, $50, $100, $1,000, whatever you give is always appreciated by us. And of course, if you can't give, then even the smallest thumbs up will help our channel. Thumbs up and the bell notification button to be notified of future videos. Today's sponsor is Fanatics, your ultimate go-to spot for officially licensed sport gear. If you're a total spurts nut like me, then you know it's not just about watching the game, it's about living it. Trust me, Fanatics has you covered on all fronts. They got jerseys from every team, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college, you name it. Not only that, but you can snag everything from hats and hoodies to limited edition collectibles and championship memorabilia. Basically sports heaven for fans who want to rep their team colors year-round. Plus, the shopping experience is super smooth. The site is easy to navigate, and their customer service is right on point. So you won't get stuck hunting down the perfect item. And guess what? They keep updating their inventory constantly, adding the latest drops, so you'll always find something fresh and exciting. If you want to look the part every time your team hits the field, court, or ice, head on over to Fanatics. Support your team, show off your pride, and never settle for anything less than official. Check out the link below. Score that must-have merch today. And of course, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Good Pods, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon. Anywhere you get your podcast from, you can find us. With that, thank you for watching and listening. Of course, Merry Christmas. We will see you next time.